If you two think I'm going to just roll over and let you take that child and go wandering off into the sunset together, well, I'm afraid you are sadly mistaken.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I will be doing another episode recap. Today is July 17, 2024. Let's get into it, right? So we see Chanel, she's reopening her bakery, right? She's getting her life back on track and she's on the phone with Johnny while she's doing that, right? So Johnny's like, you sure you don't want me to help out? You know, I'm a man of many talents, let me help out. She's like, sure, I know you are, but can you really pipe the cupcakes or pipe the pastry? Can you really help out with the baking duties? So he's like, yeah. But anyways, she said that, you know, Dr. Green cleared her to be back to work. So she just really wants to get progressive, right? So anyways, we move on to the next scene, right? So we see Teresa comes up, and that's when Chanel comes off the phone, right? And Teresa is like, I really need your help and it's urgent, right? So, you know, Chanel is like, how can I help? So she said like she's getting married today to Alex, right? And she needs a wedding cake. And even though it's a double wedding with Sarah and Xander, she doesn't really like the flavor of the cake because it's spice cake. I really don't like spice cake either. Chanel said, oh, she's not crazy about it either, so she understands. So she said she'll see what she can do, right? So Teresa is just happy that, you know, Chanel is able to help her out during this wedding crisis, right? So we move on to the next scene. So we see Tate and Holly there at the ultimate days getaway, which is the Horton cabin, right? So they're gonna have their little summer romance. They're happy to be alone finally and away from their overprotective parents, right? So they had the fast food and they had board games, and you know they start talking about what's going on outside of there. So Holly fills in Tate on what happened with EJ and Erica and her mom, right? And Jude not being EJ. So he's like, I can't believe EJ did this to my uncle Eric. So he's like, how are you feeling and all this? And she said she's okay, you know. She just she's just upset that EJ did that and she's on her mom's side. And he's like, this blew up your family. And she's like, you know, not really, because she really liked Eric the most as her stepfather. And then they started talking about whether or not Eric and Nicole will go back together, and she's like, who knows, but she is hoping that that happens, right? So anyways, you know, they're having their board game, and at some point she mentioned Johnny during the board game because he was like, how do you know all these old movies? And she's like, because of an old movie buff. And by movie buff, you know, he already picked it up that it's Johnny. So she's like, I'm sorry I brought it up, you know, it's just an old crush and I know he's into Chanel. And he's like, who are you into? And she said, you know, you. So, you know, they start kissing and all that. I won't hold you on this scene. It was really long for no reason, right? Anyways, moving on to the next scene. So Brady walks into the Kiriakis mansion and Alex is there, right? So he's asking Alex, where's Maggie? Because, you know, I'm just want to check in on her, you know, that Xander and Sarah's wedding is happening, and given everything that has happened with her trying to get married to Constantine, you know, he just was concerned about how she would be feeling. So Alex is like, you know, I think she's okay. Besides, you know, we're also getting married tonight. So he's like, you know, yeah, we're also getting married. It's going to be a double wedding. So Brady's like, oh my gosh, this is happening so fast. And he's like, yeah, that's how you were when I told you we were engaged. And Brady is saying, you know, yeah, I know. So, but it's just really happening so fast. So anyways, at some point he said that maybe I need to rescind my RSVP. You know, maybe it's going to be too uncomfortable, especially given what I said about Teresa being a gold digger and all of that about the money. So he's like, yeah, we're past that. And she signed the prenup, and Brady's like, yeah, so that means that she's really into you. You guys are clueless. But anyways, you know, at some point he turned around and said, you know what? I believe that Teresa really does love you, and you know, you have a lot going for you. So, you know, he said that he is willing to really be there for family and to just support them on their big day, right? He can put that aside, even though he still has some unresolved feelings for Teresa and he's hurt, right? So, anyways, they move past that, and Brady is gonna attend the mess of a wedding that's to come. So, anyways, move on to the next year, right? So we see EJ and he's having a drink, looking over this divorce petition that Nicole sent over, right? And Johnny comes in, and Johnny's like, "Isn't it a little bit too early to be drinking?" And he's like, "It's 5 o'clock somewhere." So he's told Johnny that Nicole sent over divorce papers. So Johnny's like, "You're really surprised about that? Like, given that what you did to her, she took Holly and Jude, you're surprised that she did that?" So he's like, "Probably not." So he's like, "I know you're upset at me for what I did." And I was like, "I'm upset because, I really thought Jude was my brother, and I thought we were all gonna be in this house raising our babies together, right?" He's referring to the baby that he and Chanel lost, right? So he's still upset about that. And Johnny is like, EJ is like, "I'm sorry that you're hurt by this." And he's like, "That I'm hurt? How about you say you're sorry that you hurt me?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm sorry that I hurt you. I made you believe this, right?" So he's like, Johnny is upset about what his dad did, but at the same time, he also said that he's gonna support him no matter what. He's not gonna try and kick him even worse than how he feels, right? So he said that he's gonna be here, and EJ asked him if they're still gonna move on. He's like, "We haven't really thought about that, but at some point we're not gonna stay here forever." But EJ is like, "I know, I understand. I just hope that you stay a little while longer, just to be. I really would appreciate that." And they said, "Yeah, you got my back. I got you. I'm loyal. I'm gonna be loyal towards you, right? I'm gonna be there for you throughout this, right? Just sign the papers and move forward with your life. You'll find somebody that is worthy of you." And I agree, because like EJ is a good husband. Like, regardless of his fault, he was really in love with Nicole. Nicole didn't deserve him, honestly. Unpopular opinion. But anyways, we see these two, right? And she comes in and she's like, excited to see her son. And he stayed over with Eric. She gave him a little time to rebond with him. And Nicole fills in Eric that she served EJ papers, and he's like, "Isn't that a little bit too soon?" And she's like, "What about you serving Sloan divorce papers? Isn't that too soon? They do deserve it. Like, look what they put us through." I'm like, "Look what you put them through. Like, you always be putting other respective people through things, knowing that you guys want to be together, and you keep involving other parties, and it's so annoying. Honestly, I'm so tired of this couple, right? I don't have nothing against actors or actresses, but like, tired of this up and down. It's annoying." So anyways, they finally admit something that we the viewers already know, that they still wanted to be together. And if the circumstances were lined up and Jude were their kid, they would have leave their partners and be together, not considering the feelings of the other partners, or how they would feel, given that they invested their love and time into the relationship. They don't care. They do this to everybody. Look what they did to Jada and Rafe. Like, it's just disgusting, honestly. But anyways, he started talking to Nicole about Holly, and how she's taking this, and she said, she's taking it well, even though she's grounded and all that. And he's like, she loves you, and the things will come around, right? And he said that he's actually staying in Salem given the new developments, right? So she's of course happy. And he's like, "I hope it can work out between me and you." The ink don't even sign and dry on the paper yet, and look at them. They don't care. They really don't care about nobody else but themselves. And that's what I have to be ranting about Nicole and Eric. Like, some of you guys are Eric fans. I was an EJ fan. But again, Nicole, you're better off, and EJ is better off. Anyways, we see Teresa, right? Chanel is off to bake the cake, and Sophia comes up, right? And she's like, "Miss Donovan, and how are you doing?" And she's like, "I really meant to apologize to you for how my son treated you." And she's like, she has nothing against Tate. It's Holly, because Holly's her friend, and Holly didn't tell her how she felt about Tate, given that she also had feelings for Tate, right? So Teresa is just egging it on, and like, she's saying, "I really can't stand that girl," and whatever. I'm like, "Teresa, you ain't nobody to judge at this point. You are just like her. in some regards, right? So anyways, she's like, but you don't have to worry about that. Tate and Holly are separated. Tate is off to lacrosse camp, so there's no worries there. So that is when Sophia says, I think, you're wrong about that, and I need to fill you in about Tate, right? So this is where we move on to the next scene, right? You guys remember when somebody was lurking in the bushes watching Tate and Holly and them making their plans to see each other during the summer? So we find out that this person was Sophia, and I'm like, Sophia, don't you got nothing else going on? You're a teenager, like you don't got nothing else going on. You lurking in the bushes. You just look pathetic. Honestly, you're pathetic. You're desperate. It's giving all of that. Honestly, it's stupid. So anyways, she was the one that saw them and she knows of their impending plans to get away, right? So she was about to tell Teresa that Tate wasn't at lacrosse camp and he's actually with Holly at the cabin, right? But then we see that Nels comes over and then she's saying, she's giving Teresa the idea behind the cake and how she proceed to go around it. So that's when she leaves off, and then Sophia's like, "Oh, you're getting married today?" And she says, like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Congratulations!" Like, so she said, "Thank you. So what did you want to tell me about Tate?" She's like, never mind. It's your big day. Don't worry about it." So she walked off. So that's it with them, right? So we see EJ over here by himself because Johnny went out to take his wife to lunch, right? So he's there looking at the divorce petition, still considering if he's going to sign it or not, right? I actually go ahead and sign it, EJ. Like, you're not missing out. So speaking of Johnny, Johnny is in the square and he meets up with Chanel and he's like, "Let me take you out for late lunch." And she's like, "I would love to, but I'm swamped, I'm swamped here with work." And he's like, "But you need to eat." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm eating well, don't worry." And he's like, "Am I hovering over you?" And she's like, "A little bit, but I like it." So he started talking about his dad actually asking about them moving out, and he's like, "No, not yet, but we will at some point." And he's like, he really would like us to stay there a little while longer, considering everything he's going through right now. And she's like, can't he? Chanel is like, "Can't him and Nicole like work it out?" And he's like, "I don't think so, because Nicole sent him divorce papers, so there's no turning back. But I'm just saying he just needs to sign the papers and move forward, right?" So anyways, we go on to the next scene, right? So at some point we see Brady and Alex talking, right? And then he's like, "I wonder if Teresa is going to be comfortable with me attending the wedding." And then that's when Teresa comes in. She has a dress, and she's like, "Who won't be comfortable?" And he's like, "Probably you won't be comfortable with me attending." She's like, "No, no, no, I really would like if you come, right? We're past it, right?" So Alex gets a call and he has to leave, right? So that leaves Teresa and Brady, right? So Brady and Teresa are talking, right? And he's happy that she is happy and going through with this wedding, right? And she's like, "I will always care about you and I always will have love for you, right? You are Tate's dad, right?" And he's like, "I'm sorry about what I said to Alex about you being, a gold digger and all that, even though she really is." But he said he's sorry. And she's like, "You already apologized. It's all water on the bridge." So then they started talking back about Tate, and she's like, "Oh my God, like Tate is at camp. Like, I'm getting married today. Like, how can I get married without Tate being there? I need my son at my wedding, Brady." And I was thinking that earlier too, because like, how you gonna get married and not have one of the most important persons there, which would be your son, right? So I didn't think they really thought it through, right? So let's go on to the next scene, right? Anyways, Tate and Holly are at the cabin. They're having fun. Then they get a knock at the door, and it's Sophia. Sophia just take herself on the ferry and come over there. Like, she don't have nothing else to do. She's just that desperate. So she's like, "Tate and Holly, I know you guys are in there. You guys are busted. So let's see what happens the next episode, right?" But Lord, don't you got a hobby or something? Like, Lord. So then we go back to Eric and Nicole, and they receive a knock at the door, and it's EJ, right? He has the petition. She's like, "What you doing there?" I mean, duh, he's there to like give her the divorce papers. So he gives her, and she grabs it from him. So she looks over and she's like, it's not signed. He's like, no, I'm not signing it because, like, if you think that I'm just gonna roll over and let you guys play house and, with that child and all that, like, you got me messed up. So I don't know, EJ, what are you up to? This is the vindictive EJ coming in. Like, let Nicole go off with Eric at this point. Because Eric owes you a shiny one for actually passing off his son as yours. I'll give him that. But EJ, what are you up to? I guess we have to tune in, folks. So that is it. Thank you for all the support thus far. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Comment your thoughts below on today's episode. I will see you tomorrow for an all new episode recap. All right. Bye.